Bulletcast for life.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Bulletcast. I don't know what number we are this week, but we are the only sports recreational podcast that is simply just too sweet. I'm your host. I'm the Podfather. Just like Billy Kay and Peyton Royce, I'm simply iconic. I am sitting next to the man who was holding my championship for the time being up until next Saturday or Sunday. He is the current reigning, defending Bulletcast champion, the Canadian Destroyer, Brandon. How's it going, man?
It's going great. I know we've been having some technical difficulties with our video lately, but, I look very nice with this championship right here. Reunited.
Brandon,
feels so good.
Brandon has the strap third time's the charm, eh?
Yeah,
3 times.
Three's my favorite number. I'm hoping to keep this one for a long time, and I'm a traveling champion, so I'm going to LA for Survivor Series, but I'll still put it up on the line because I ain't no baby.
You not know Brock?
I ain't no Brock. There we go. That's a better word. That's a better word for it.
Ooh, okay, all
right.
Because
no profanity on the podcast.
No profanity. You dropped.
I didn't drop it. It just fell.
It did just fall. Not like that one time.
It tipped over.
Not
like that one time over in Spain where the people dropped their thing off the tour bus and they ran it over. It's a whole big deal. Look it up on the internet if you don't know what I'm talking about.
All right, let's hop into outside of the ring. We have to start off with some really unfortunate news. Jose Lothario passes away at 83. He is the man who trained Shawn Michaels. He's an NWA legend. He's in their Hall of Fame. Jose Lothario, he's responsible for the boyhood dream, you could say. WrestleMania 12, him coming down the aisle, getting into the ring, and then announcing Shawn Michaels in that entrance, coming from the rafters. One of my favorite moments of my wrestling fandom. Thoughts?
I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm a huge Jose Lothario fan. I'm aware of him, of what he did with Shawn Michaels, but if you asked me what the guy's name was, I honestly probably couldn't have told you. But 83 years old, he lived a nice long life. Still don't know exactly what happened to why he passed away, but sad news.
They've been natural causes, I believe.
Thoughts out to all his family and friends and everybody who knew him, and yeah.
All right. The Saudi Arabian Prince, because after that whole crown jewel thing that happened last Friday, he is willing to pay apparently $7 billion to buy World Wrestling Entertainment. It's never going to happen, but, that's nice to hear, I guess.
It's never going to happen, but, $10 billion, maybe we might have an offer there.
Vince, he's a maniac in some ways. He's not that crazy. He's not leaving until he's 6 feet under.
But then you have to think of, if a Saudi buys it, then who's booking it? Where is it taking place? Is it going to be like Central and Middle East? And it's never going to happen. So it's just, I don't even know.
How much money do you think the Prince would have to throw at Vince to have a Saudi Arabian championship? Like the UK title?
Like a Middle East, well, if it's a Middle Eastern championship, the Saudis are going to go over every single time, and Sami Zayn's going to lose every single time, if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. All right, AJ Styles, this past Wednesday, he hit 1 year as WWE champion. That doesn't happen a lot in this day and age with the WWE title. Last guy to do it with that championship, CM Punk, 434. So congratulations, AJ. He has a big match next Sunday going up against Brock, the rematch from last year, Universal Champion versus WWE Champion. I'm throwing the prediction out right now. I think AJ goes over.
I said this.
Throwing it out there.
I said it on my Under the Radar show. You can check it out every Tuesday.
Award-winning Under the Radar show.
That if Brock Lesnar, if it's true, he's only signed to a 2-fight deal, and if this is one of the 2 fights, AJ better win, because it just doesn't make any sense for AJ to lose. And if you have AJ win and Seth or whoever it is going to beat him, then that ends up setting up a dream match between these 2 guys who ended up beating Brock Lesnar. And it just is good business. I've said this in the past. If there's going to be some person who's going to beat CM Punk's record because WWE is petty AF, I think AJ's the best guy to do it.
Petty AF.
Just because he has the indie cred, he has the internet fans, and everybody from internet fans to families and little kids love AJ Styles. So no one's going to complain about AJ being champion for 435, but I think people will see for what it is.
Yes. Everybody loves AJ. Shout out. All right, Jeff Cobb, a man who I've interviewed. He signed exclusively with Ring of Honor last Friday at Halloween Hell? For APW, he dropped the Universal Championship to Jacob Fatu. Shout out Big Oos. So yeah, That's kind of crazy, man. I think I was like Cobb's one of his last interviews or his last interview on this local indie scene.
Hmm.
If that is the case, Cobb, thank you for the interview, man. It was great. You gave a lot of elaborate answers, and I really appreciate it, man.
He's a good wrestler. He's a little up there in age, but I
Yes.
think he's a great talent. I think people around the country and around the world are starting to find out what kind of talent he is. Of course, he was on APW. He's done PWG and a whole bunch of other stuff. But I think now that he's on ROH, we've talked about it a little bit in the past. He's TV champion now. I think he's gonna get rise the ranks on the independent level.
Yes, absolutely. All right, Roman Reigns has begun his treatment for his battle with leukemia. We all know what happened. He announced it a few weeks ago. He had to drop the Universal Championship. There's no real timetable on his return to WWE, but Roman, we're all still praying for you. Get well, fight the big fight, brother. All right, moving on from that, Daniel Cormier. This was good. So I was at Straw Hat Pizza on Industrial Parkway watching UFC 230, and I was like, DC's fighting. I have to go see this after he defeats what was the guy's name?
Derek Lewis,
Derek Lewis.
who has a fantastic Instagram, by the way.
Did he get like a lifetime supply of Popeyes or something?
He's got some sort of hookup with Popeyes. If he ended up beating Daniel Cormier,
Oh,
some
man.
Popeyes in Texas or something had they would have given free Popeyes for everybody who came in for like a 2-hour span.
Yes. Well, Cormier defeats Derek Lewis, and then Joe Rogan interviewed him, and Cormier said, "Brock Lesnar, bring that WWE Championship when you come fight me. I want that too." It's the Universal title. I should just clear that
But
up right now.
it's a WWE.
It's a championship.
It's technically a
WWE.
WWE championship, so grammatically it's technically not wrong.
Yes, yes. Daniel Cormier, a.k.a. San Jose, trains there. He just became the new head coach of Gilroy High School. So, any tournaments that my school and his school may be at, I'll be like, "What's up, Cormier? You wanna tussle a little bit?" I'm joking. I get my ass kicked. No, but this is really interesting because I have some thoughts on this. Brock Lesnar walking into the octagon with with the Universal Championship, a property of WWE. That'd be cool to see. But what would be even bigger? Brock Lesnar walking into WrestleMania 35, MetLife Stadium, defending the Universal Championship with the UFC heavyweight title.
Well, first he has to beat Dana Cormier, which is a tall task unto itself. I think right now, if DC and Brock were to fight, I would probably put DC to win if Brock Lesnar is clean, which is a question
Just
mark.
look smaller.
And every single time DC has lost, it's been to someone who is dirty. So right now, DC, I think, would have the advantage in that. There's no timetable on exactly when they're going to fight. DC doesn't want to fight into his 40s, so this 2019 is going to be his last year in the UFC. Maybe they get in before WrestleMania. I think probably they could if DC wants to just get it over with, and if Brock passes all USADA stuff, that'd be fine. If DC wants to be in if the WWE UFC bubble, if they want to come together and DC can do something, that'd be fun. He's a big wrestling fan, and I think he could take to it kind of like Ronda Rousey could.
Yeah. Or if he could be a commentator, probably throw him on SmackDown. I think that'd be interesting to see. All right, well, speaking of timetables, Monday Night Raw can no longer run over their required timetable. As we all know, for the past, how long have they been 3 hours? Since 2012, they've gone sometimes past 11:15, almost to 11:30 with their segments.
I remember the Daniel Bryan retirement ceremony went past 11:30 because I recorded it, and I only had like 15 minutes, and it went past that.
Yes. Yeah, so they can no longer go over that table. Apparently, USA has put their foot down on this. They have to stop strictly at 11 o'clock. Our time. So,
Well, Eastern time. Technically, it's at 8 o'clock Pacific time. Because, I got DirecTV, so I watch the East Coast feed. Shout out.
True. Yes. So, shout out to USA, putting the foot down. Raw does run kind of long, especially with sometimes segments that just don't make any sense or are not needed to be seen on television. We're going to get to some of those when we talk about Monday Night Raw. But yeah, shout out USA. All right, Rowdy Ronda
I'm very happy about this. I know it's just a little tiny thing, but shaving off 10 to 5 to 15 minutes of Raw, that's amazing. They do it on SmackDown. SmackDown has a hard cut time.
It does.
At 10 Eastern. So I don't know why Raw can't do the same thing. I know it's a tradition back to the Monday Night Wars, but I'm very happy that we save a little bit of time with Raw because it's already bloated enough as it is. It honestly needs to be cut down to 2 hours, but, whatever.
We'll try. All right, Rowdy Ronda Rousey, UFC Hall of Famer, current reigning and defending Raw Women's Champion, is number 1 on the PWI Top 100 Women's list.
And you know who's not in the top 10? Becky Lynch.
This is blasphemy. She's the man.
And you know who's in the top 10? Carmella.
Well, hey, Mella is money. Hold on now.
This is an atrocity.
All right,
You're telling me Becky Lynch, there was 9 WWE women on that list, and she was not in the top 9? The guy said, whoever the guy is who's in charge of this, said that, before she got hot, that was like 2 weeks before the cutoff date. I don't care. Becky Lynch, still before that, was still one of the top people on SmackDown, maybe second woman on SmackDown.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. Let's say if the cutoff was last week.
I think he meant like 2 weeks after SummerSlam. So I think that's what he meant. So when she got really hot, I don't know exactly when the exact cutoff point is, but
let's say the cutoff was like last week. She would have been number 1, hands down. I mean,
I think Ronda Rousey still would have been number 1 because she's undefeated. She's champ. Let's be honest. It's a totally kayfabe list. That's why Carmella's on it. It's because she was champion for however long she was, a month or 2. So that's why she's on it above Becky Lynch. But I still think Becky Lynch is shit. I know it's a kayfabe list. There's no reason to get too hot about it. But come on, people.
I mean, yeah. Next year, Becky will she be number 1 most likely, probably. But you know, it's all kayfabe, like you just said. But it's blasphemy, though. I mean, Becky's the man. She's probably one of my favorite acts in wrestling right now. She might be in my top 5. I think we should do that one day. Top 5 favorite acts in WWE.
Top five.
Yes. Yeah. Well, moving on from this list.
Becky Lynch bandwagon's way too full right now. I've been leading that bandwagon for years, and now everybody just wants to come on and hop on. But I got a perfect front row seat right next to Becky because
he's been leading it since dark-haired Becky in NXT.
Mm-hmm. Since she'd been coming out to Irish theme song and she was doing whatever the Irish dance is.
Yeah. It's been a long journey.
I got an NXT Becky Lynch t-shirt, damn it.
Yes.
Which I might or might not wear to Survivor Series. I'm still debating what shirt I want. Because, wearing your wrestling shirt when you go to your show is very important.
Yeah.
Makes statements.
Wear some throwbacks. You see stuff like this all the time. A throwback Becky Lynch shirt, he's ahead of the game. It's been a long time coming from doing the Irish jig to being the last kicker to being the man. Shout out Becky Lynch. We appreciate you. We should have a Becky Lynch appreciation podcast.
Every podcast is a Becky Lynch appreciation podcast for me.
Yes. There we go.
Give me that Becky.
Heyo! All right, moving on from that, CM Punk, Phil Brooks. He's going to be an MMA commentator now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think December 14th is when he starts.
On UFC Fight Pass, so I'm not going to be able to watch it. He should be fine. I don't know why he wouldn't be. He was a good WWE commentator. But that is a whole different ballgame sometimes for WWE commentators. You're sitting there during crap segments and you're just, especially for CM Punk, he was just there to get himself over and have a good time. But for this one, I think he's going to take it seriously, be a sports-like commentator. He's a huge sports fan, so I think he knows what he's getting into. And honestly, he's much better fit for this than being in the octagon or the cage.
He got it out of his system. Punk, great on the mic, pipe bombs all day. We all know how great Phil Brooks is when he's handed a microphone. So, congratulations. Hope he does well in his new role. All right, David Arquette. He was the cop from the Scream franchise. He had a stint in Friends. And, of course, how could we forget he was World Heavyweight Champion. He's been making his rounds on the indies lately,
WCW champion. Get it right.
Still a world championship.
Well,
if they count for Ric Flair, why can't they count for?
It technically does count, but his official title was WCW champion.
Okay. He was WCW World Heavyweight Champion.
There we go. That's better.
There we go. Yeah, he's been making his rounds on the indies. I've been reading stuff on Twitter. People say when they meet him at local shows that he's a pretty chill, nice guy. He had he didn't have a match for the NWA title, but he was at Championship Wrestling for Hollywood. He got a big pop when he did Some Move. Brian Campbell from CBS Sports is supposed to be releasing an interview with him sometime next week, talking about his return to the ring. What are your thoughts on David Arquette?
I think he understands what he is. He's kind of a cult joke actor.
Ellsworth type?
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of, let's be honest, he's a joke. He's not the best actor in the world. He had his run in WCW, which was a complete joke and a complete farce to the business. And I think he understands what it is. He has fun with it. So I'm not gonna sit here and crap on him. I applaud him. I mean, he's at least relevant in the wrestling world. He's not really relevant in the pop culture world anymore.
Yep.
So
Shout out David Arquette. Liked one of my tweets yesterday.
and replied to, I saw.
I know. We buddies right now. We homies.
So does that mean me and Lana are homies because she liked one of my tweets once?
Yeah.
Sweet. Hi, Lana. Love you.
All right, Chris Jericho. We got some Jericho.
Take some fireball shots in LA together. I'm staying at the Marriott. I don't know what hotel they stay at down in LA, but it's right next to the Staples Center. I'm hoping they're there.
Hey man, get an interview if you could for us.
I ain't getting no interviews. I'm shutting the Marriott bar down. That's what I'm doing.
Wow. At least get a drop for us.
All right.
Can you at least do that?
I'll get a drunken Lana drop.
That'd be fire. I'd play that all the time.
Fireball, because Lana likes her fireball, and I like to sit here and apologize to all my big under the radar fans that I didn't do a Total Divas recap. I completely forgot. That's it. Next week, double dosage.
Ooh,
two episodes of Total Divas recap.
Double dose of them Total Divas. Hey,
I mean, this past week it was the we all traveled to Tahoe and be in bikinis episode.
I'm so behind. I have like 7 episodes taped on my DVR.
You didn't watch the one that I'm on?
I'm currently on the WrestleMania one,
which is like the first one.
Yeah, I'm that far behind.
I'm like on the second or third one.
All right.
I forget what it was. Oh, it's when Natty throws like her party at her parents' house.
Yeah, whenever he pops up, I'm taking a picture, throwing it right on the Bullet Cast gram. All right, Chris Jericho disapproves of a Wrestle Kingdom match. So, New Japan put out for Wrestle Kingdom, is Wrestle Kingdom 13 on my birthday, my dad, January 4th, that he's supposed to defend his Intercontinental Championship against Tetsuya Naito. Jericho threw it up on Instagram. Hey, NJPW 1972, just because you announce a match doesn't mean I have to accept it, not approved. So, thoughts on this?
He said this after his match with Evil, that just because Naito came out doesn't mean he's going to give him a match. Not at Wrestle Kingdom, not at Madison Square Garden, not at Kirk and Hall, not anywhere. So it's just Jericho still playing up his gimmick, and I mean, eventually I think he's going to fight him.
Just Jericho being Jericho?
Just Jericho being Jericho, and if he isn't, like, who is he going to fight? No one else really makes any sense at this point. All the big matches are kind of already set in place, so Naito's kind of left without a dance partner if Jericho's not on there. And some news from Naito that he did an interview, and he said that WWE threw some money at him, and he said,
Wow, turning down the big dogs. All right.
And I think he said something that, like, New Japan should focus more in Japan than America. I'm not exactly sure. I know it's a translation, and I'm going off a translation of analysis and blah, blah, blah. So, anyways.
All right. Inside of the ring, in that amazing nostalgic match with D-Generation X and the Brothers of Destruction.
7 stars.
Yes, at Crown Jewel in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, hosted by Hulk Hogan. Triple H tore his pectoral muscle.
Yep, on that table spot that nobody cleared the table for him. Don't know if that made any difference. I said it's on Under the Radar. Maybe Triple H should slim down about 30 to 40 pounds on his body. He's in his mid to late 40s. I don't think he should be, jacked to the gills. And his matches are slow and methodical, and they're just not a whole lot of fun to watch. I mean, the last fun match he had is maybe... I mean, I was there for the Sting match. It was fun for what it was, but I mean, if it wasn't for all the gimmicks with NWO and DX, the match probably would have been terrible.
Okay.
So,
Hunter had his surgery earlier this week. Hopefully, he gets better very, very soon. Joey Ryan also tore his pectoral muscle, so he is currently in LA. He has a doctor appointment at 3 p.m. I'm sorry. So we will hope to see that Joey Ryan gets better, because we gotta have our dose of Joey Ryan on the Indies, man.
Back to Triple H for a second. This does put the pause on that Triple H Batista feud.
That does.
Because if he tore his pec, he's out, let's say, 6 months. He's not going to be ready in time for WrestleMania. Is Batista dead set on having Triple H or nobody? Is Batista open to having a match with, I don't know, what heel out? Because I think Batista wants to come up back as a babyface, and people want to embrace him as a babyface because of what happened last time. So, I mean, you can have him face The Miz. I think that'd be fun. Have him face The Miz. Miz being a delusional A-list superstar and, downgrading what the Batista's done in his movie career. So, that could be fun, but I don't know who else you can see Batista facing off if it's not Triple H.
Yes. All right, and last up inside of the ring, Jack Swagger, the All-American American, or Jake Strong, Savage Jake Strong. He became the new Lucha Underground Heavyweight Champion.
I haven't watched Lucha Underground since like the very beginning of season 2. Maybe even the end of season 1 I kind of didn't pay attention to, but
Shaul Guerrero, Eddie Guerrero's daughter, just debuted there, so it's pretty cool, man. She dropped the "excuse me" line, paying homage to her mother. She hit somebody with the Three Amigos, paying homage to her father. Chavo Guerrero was in the ring with her. It was a heartfelt moment, man. Of course, I didn't actually watch the whole episode. I just saw it on Instagram.
my girl Jordan Grace debuted on Impact this week. So we got Impact and Lucha Underground talk on this show. We are a well-rounded wrestling podcast.
Hey, shout out Jordan Grace. Follow her on Instagram. Good stuff. I loved her in the Over the Budget Battle Royal.
And I follow Scarlett Bordeaux on Instagram as well. You know,
So do
great follow. You know, she has great wrestling attire.
Oh, of course.
And she's on the search for a new personal assistant or something. Maybe I should send in a video.
Do it, man. Send her in some of this.
Maybe.
We don't know.
And then you'll see my Impact. I'm going to leave you guys in the dust.
Wow.
Well, I don't know. Maybe this show might get more views than Impact. Who knows?
There we go.
I don't know.
All right. This day in wrestling, the Montreal Screwjob, 1997, 21 years ago today.
Never heard of the Montreal Screwjob. What happened?
So, apparently, Vince McMahon wanted Bret Hart to drop the world title in Canada, in his home country. Bret didn't want to. And then Vince McMahon talks to Shawn like, hey, what spot do you guys have planned in the match? Shawn's like, oh, I put him in the sharpshooter. Vince is like, all right, damn it, okay. So then Shawn Michaels puts Bret Hart in the sharpshooter, unbeknownst to Shawn apparently, and Bret Hart had no idea. Earl Hebner rings the bell. Shawn is awarded the world title. Bret Hart is pissed. He is livid. He spits in Vince McMahon's face. Bret goes off to WCW. Thus, D-Generation X comes in with the Attitude Era. Vince McMahon, probably the greatest heel character in the history of wrestling, is born. Yeah.
That happened 21 years ago?
Yes, it did.
I can't believe I've never heard about this before.
I know, man. Yeah.
I think someone should do like a documentary, maybe a movie about it.
Yeah, I think there was something being filmed during the time that this happened. Apparently, Vince McMahon was punched in the face after in the locker room by Mr. Hart. So,
Have to check it out.
if only there's a network where we could watch this match and all the fallout from it, you know.
Yeah, and they had like a sit-down interview with Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, and maybe they bury the hatchet and talk about it. I mean, maybe Jim Ross could do it. I think Jim Ross would be the perfect person to interview both of them.
I think he would.
Yeah.
All right, Pete Dunne is 25 years old today. The Bruiserweight, the current WWE UK champion, 523 days, I want to say, as champion. Congratulations, Pete Dunne. Nick Patrick, he was a crooked referee for WCW, NWO. He's 59 years old today. And this is the best birthday shout-out I can give. Happy birthday to the Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla, the master of the pen click, the master of the list, the GOAT, the Lionheart, Chris Jericho, 48 years old. He just had the Chris Jericho Rock and Wrestling Rager. Y2, was it Y2 Jackson, Alpha Club versus Bullet Club? That was great. I listened to the Jericho podcast from the cruise. It was great. I loved everything about it, man. Shout out Jericho. I met this man, actually.
Jericho, you need to bring the cruise down to San Diego.
Just saying.
Or Long Beach. You need to bring it over to the West Coast.
Just saying. Shout out Jericho, man. Thank you for all you've done in wrestling. You've made me laugh, and it's been fun.
We've talked about on various different podcasts. He's evolved his character over the years. He's not the same high-flying guy he was 20 years ago in WCW, but he still is having good matches with Evil, Naito, Omega. Yeah. He's evolving his character, and he just knows how to adapt with the times.
That match he just had with Evil, that post-match interview, Jericho said he just gave Evil his first ever classic match. For Jericho, that was like number 257. So,
I think Evil's might have had a few more than that. I mean, he's had some okay matches with Okada.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on. We got some fan mail, baby. Let's see. Let's make it happen. All right, Hootie Hoo 420. Haven't heard from this guy in a while.
Hootie
Hoo. All right, since Shane McMahon is the best in the world,
which he is,
what happens to CM Punk and Y2J?
Well, I mean, I think they just pale in comparison now, because we all knew Shane McMahon was the best in the world. But now that he has gone through that grueling tournament, that 8-man tournament, but 9-man tournament, that he is now the undisputed, undivided best in the world, Shane McMahon. And if you do not address him as best in the world, Shane McMahon, I won't accept it.
He is the best in the world at what he does. Sorry, Chris. It's just a fact. Shout out Shane, man. You know, the coast to coast, the leap of faith elbow drop, the corkscrew flying elbow that he does. Shane McMahon.
I mean, people say that Shane McMahon just takes a whole bunch of other wrestlers' moves and makes them his own. No. He puts his own spin on them, and he makes them better than what RVD could ever do at that coast to coast.
Exactly, man. That elbow drop, Kairi Sane who? Macho Man who?
Exactly.
There we go.
Shane McMahon and the entire McMahon family just the best in the world. They just gave us wrestling. Who cares about the 70 plus years that came before them? They invented wrestling, and they're the whole reason we're here.
Yes, they did. Mm-hmm. The McMahons. They are a godsend. They are an entity within itself. I could go on all day, but I'm not going to. All right.
Shane is the fruits of Vince McMahon's loins. And, you know, when you put greatness of Linda McMahon and Vince McMahon together, you get Stephanie and Shane, which is just twice as good as Linda and Vince. And how can you even get... I mean, that's why Shane...
Stephanie gave us the woman's revolution.
Yeah. I am so grateful that I was able, last time I went to LA, that I saw Shane or Stephanie McMahon face off against Brie Bella. And who won? Stephanie, of course, because she is the best woman in the world. And now,
former women's champion.
And now I'm going to be graced in the presence of the best in the world, Shane McMahon. So now I'm going to have the privilege to watch both Shane and Stephanie wrestle, and I've seen Vince McMahon live. It's just, I am in the presence of greatness.
Are you gonna do the little dance?
I got the aisle seat, so you know I might have a couple drinks in me. I might gotta dance along, put on my Jordan 1s, and just go up and down the aisles in a little Shane dance.
Hey, do it, man.
I have to climb the Titantron, jump off of it.
Make it happen. All right, last up, Mr. Toledo. Is the Universal Championship cursed? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Here's why.
Oh, I mean, nothing's happened to Goldberg.
No, I mean...
Goldberg's had a nice life. He got to entertain his kid. He's healthy for all I know.
Look, certain championships have a coming out party, so to speak. Like WWE Championship when Bruno took it off Buddy Rogers, or the classic that Macho Man and Steamboat had for the IC title, or the US title Harley Race's run, the tag titles, Demolition, the Hart Foundation, all those people, the Women's Championship, Wendy Richter, all these great people. Look, we haven't had a strong baby face as champion. Finn Balor had it for a day. Kevin Owens was a bad guy when he had the championship for about 180 days. Goldberg, he had 2 matches. He won it, defended it, lost it. Brock Lesnar, he was a heel during his 503-day reign as champion. Roman Reigns, he finally got it. He defended it, one time on television. Then he announced his battle with leukemia, had to drop it. Now it's back on Brock. The title's been around for 2 years, and it doesn't have a significant meaning. It's like when I see a Universal Championship match, I'm like, okay, a title match. Like when I see the WWE title, no matter who has it, I'm like, this is the championship, this is the prize, this is important, despite whoever has had it. You know, I don't get that feeling with the Universal title. When I'm at APW, their Universal Championship, I'm like, all right, I respect this championship. Let's see who's gonna walk out with the strap. I don't have that feeling when I look at the Universal Championship in a match.
Yeah, I mean, it was off to a bad start when Finn won it. Then Kevin Owens gets it. Kevin Owens, he was fine with it, but he was never really like a serious champion. So
he didn't feel like a main eventer.
I'm not going to put how can you put the blame on a title? The title doesn't actually do anything. It's the people that make the title, not the title makes the person.
And the booking.
So I'm not gonna blame a piece of leather and some metal for being cursed. But I mean, what's the percentage of time that Brock has held the Universal Championship created? What has it been like? He holds it like more than 50% of the entire runs combined. He's like been the champion the most, and he's defended it however many times. And I'm a defender of Brock. Get your money. I don't care if you get paid what you're worth, and you do you, boo. But we're back to square one, and if it's true that maybe Seth wins it at Royal Rumble, or God forbid Brock Lesnar holds it all the way to WrestleMania, and it goes to like a multi-man match with Drew and Seth and Dean all together, and whatever is going to happen. I think sooner rather than later you get the title off of Brock, and hopefully you can get like a true babyface champion to hold it for kind of what AJ's doing right now.
Yeah.
Get some prestige back on that thing, or get on it because it never had any.
True. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the Universal Championship moving forward. All right, Monday Night Raw. We kick off with Survivor Series announcements. Baron Corbin, he talks, the one time a year, brand supremacy, SmackDown versus Raw. We learned Alexa Bliss will be the manager or captain of the women's Raw team, but she will not be competing. So that was interesting. Baron Corbin has elected himself the manager of Team Raw. We have Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, and Braun Strowman on the Raw team. So basically just throw those guys together again. Because, yeah. What are your thoughts?
This whole entire show is the Baron Corbin show, which is not a good thing.
I love Baron Corbin.
Baron Corbin is not the best in the world, like Shane McMahon is. He's honestly, he's better in front of a crowd than he is backstage. For some reason, he just seems kind of stiff and just not real. He's just not the best actor in the world, like Shane McMahon is.
That theme song is fire.
Yeah. So Alexa Bliss being team captain, she has a concussion or something. They're not sure if she's going to be healthy in time for Survivor Series, so why risk it? She's not she's not a great wrestler by any means, so it doesn't really matter. This was exactly what you thought was going to happen. You come out, you make your announcements. There's only 2 shows until Survivor Series, so they got to get the ball rolling on a lot of these matches.
Yes. And then, so Alexa Bliss makes a rematch from Evolution. Riot Squad versus Natalya, Sasha Banks, and Bayley. And in this match, Natalya, she wore her father's glasses to the ring. Jim the Anvil Neidhart unfortunately passed away in August. So, during the match, Ruby Riott destroys the glasses, and Natty, she's just crying and crying, and then the match just stops. There's no clear finish. I have a couple problems with this.
I have a lot of problems with this. So you give us your problems, and I'll give you my additional problems.
If these glasses were so important to her father and to her, why hasn't she been wearing them since he passed away? Why did the match just stop when the glasses were destroyed? Liv Morgan or Sarah Logan couldn't just roll her up real quick so we can get a definitive winner? Why are we seeing this match again? What was the point of this? What performances? These weren't good enough performances to be selected for the Raw Women's team. Your turn.
So, the same exact stuff you have. My thing is, if you have, I don't know when this idea came. I assume this idea of the sunglass snatching happened, over the weekend.
Probably like 5 minutes before the match.
So when you say, okay, we're going to do this angle where Ruby or somebody breaks Natalya's dad's glasses, that you don't do it the day of, because when she did the backstage interview and she wore the glasses, like, oh, something's happened with those glasses. No, you don't do it that day. You do it 2 months, 3 months down the line, and you can have it be, and it was just kind of goofy. It was like, oh, these are my dad's glasses, so I'm going to wear them. It wasn't like, oh, my dad gave me these glasses, after a SummerSlam, and he, said, chase your dreams, or whatever kind of stuff you want to go. And then she wears them. Maybe she doesn't wear them, but she's like always kind of wearing them or holding them for 2-3 months. And then Ruby breaks them. And then it's a very much more emotional moment when Natalya starts breaking down in tears. And my other thing is Natalya, not the best actress. And when you hold on her face for, it felt like 2 minutes. Yeah. And she's like drooling from her mouth, and she's crying. She's making crying sounds, but no tears are coming out. And it was bad. And there's no match finish. Just do a count out or do something. Like, I thought Natalya was going to fire up and just tear Ruby a new one, and she didn't. She just started crying. Like, I thought maybe I know I'm heartless. Shout out Kanye West. But I'll be honest, I know that that wasn't a real emotional. I didn't have an emotional connection to Natalya, and so when she just started breaking down in tears, and they just focused on her for 30 seconds. I'll be honest, I laughed. I was like, come on, are you serious right now? And I wanted her, when Ruby broke the glasses, I was like, oh, I saw it coming, so I would have thought, Natalya was just going to run at her and attack her. I thought that would have been a lot better suit for Natalya's acting abilities than having her cry on command, which she can do.
Yeah, I mean, if they were, let's say if they were my deceased grandfather's glasses, I would have been pissed. I would have fought back or something. Come on, I don't know what's going on in that writing room. I don't know who pitched this idea or who decided to go with it or whatever, but that was not good. All right, Apollo Crews. He defeats former WWE champion Jinder Mahal.
Well, it looks like Apollo Crews is moving up the depth chart because Now that Roman Reigns is gone, Bobby Lashley turned heel and Dean Ambrose turned heel.
Getting a little push.
I mean, there's only 4 baby faces on the roster, and let's be honest, Elias is probably number 3, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
So now the Apollo Crews, who has done nothing on the past, how long has he been on the main roster? Like 2 years? A year?
Yeah.
Like, he's been here forever, and he hasn't done anything. He had a little something with Titus O'Neil, and now he's getting a push, and I like him. I really liked what they did with him in NXT. I saw him at an Evolve show once. I thought he was great, but
It's called up way too soon.
It's just the thing with WWE is you bury somebody, and he's a good wrestler, so you can get some good matches out of him, but in the end he loses all the time. And then when you realize, oh crap, we only have 4 main event, or not even main event, just like, you really only have 2 main eventers. You have Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman, and then you have Finn Balor and Elias. When Finn Balor, that's a whole different discussion for another day, and Elias is not proven to be a good wrestler. So now you have Apollo Crews, you're trying to build him up, and he's just, it's going to take a long time for him to be built up for anything.
Yeah, we got some time. Wins and losses still do matter in wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, so after this, Seth Rollins, he makes his way out to the ring, has the Raw Tag Team titles around his neck, the IC strap around his waist, talking about how Brock Lesnar's champion, it's despicable after everything Roman worked for to make that title mean something. Then he talks about the Raw Tag titles, and he's like, I got them, so let's do something about it. And Baron Corbin says he's going to defend them against the AOP. He loses, defends them by himself. Congratulations to the AOP. New tag team champions, finally got some gold on the main roster, or silverware, I should say. And then after the match, Dean Ambrose makes his way out to the arena, picks up a microphone, and while Seth is like looking up at him, trying to crawl up, he's like, you want to know why? You want to know why? Doesn't answer, hits him with dirty deeds, walks off.
Okay, that's a whole lot to comprehend. So first, it makes sense getting the titles on AOP. I think the AOP bar match is really underrated. I think it can be a very good match.
I'm excited for it.
But I just assume it's not going to get a whole lot of time. Or maybe Survivor Series is going to be 5 hours. I'm going to be drunk as a fart. Or pissed as a fart, or however the frickin'...
Drunk as a fart.
However the Brits say it.
Bollocks.
And I thought maybe AOP didn't get a clean enough victory. I think when it's 2-on-1 and AOP are these monsters. Seth did put up a nice fight. It was a good little match, but then you have Drake Maverick coming in and interfere. I didn't think that was necessary. I think he could have put over AOP a little bit stronger, and you can understand why Seth would have lost. It's these 2 big dudes, and he fought valiantly. He fought for however long the match was, like maybe 10 minutes. I'm not exactly sure, but and then the whole Dean Ambrose thing. I'm kind of a big fan of him. Not answering, not talking right now, just kind of saving that for later. The whole having Renee Young answer for him, I think that's like, I don't know exactly how you work around that, because people know it's been on Total Divas, so it's technically in the universe, in the storyline, and it's just kind of awkward for Renee, who's like the babyface announcer, having to answer these questions for this despicable guy who she's in a romantic relationship with. And I mean, I would just kind of just ignore it altogether, but I just don't know how you ignore it when Dean Ambrose is one of your top guys, and she's going to have to say something about it. So she's just going to completely ignore that's her husband, and it's just, it's a lot of tiptoeing that's got to go on right now.
Yeah, I don't know where exactly they're going to go with this whole thing. Getting Renee involved, okay, I see where they were trying to go with it, She said she had...
I just think it puts her in an awkward position, because she has to pretend like she's trying to talk to him about it, but he won't answer it. But besides that, it seemed like they're completely fine. It's just their relationship's perfectly fine, but when she brings that part up of it, that's when he's the bad guy.
Yeah. Well, he's a lunatic, so you don't know what's gonna set him off.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you could hear the awkwardness in her voice. Maybe that's just a credit to acting on camera or whatever, I don't know. But it's going to be interesting to see how this story plays along moving forward. Maybe Dean cost Seth his match at Survivor Series against Shinsuke. Give Shinsuke a nice little big win.
Shinsuke hasn't been doing anything on TV, so I don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's one of my... I mean, a lot of these matches on Survivor Series, not a whole lot of build, because it's the brand supremacy thing, which makes no sense. The one time a year where Raw and SmackDown faces off, even though we just had the best in the World Cup.
At least they're not under siege like last year.
Yeah.
All right, so
the only good thing about Crown Jewel is that it cut the Survivor Series build in like half, so we only had 2 weeks of this stuff and not, a month or 5 weeks.
True.
So, thank you, Crown Jewel. One good positive out of that.
All right, Elias, a man who was newly turned face, defeats Dolph Ziggler. So let me get this straight. Dolph Ziggler makes it to the final to be the best in the world.
But he's not.
Loses to a man who's not a regular wrestler.
But Shane McMahon is the best in the world.
But Shane McMahon is the best in the world. We can't forget that. And then he just jobs to newly face-turned Elias with the drift away? Really? This man was a world champion. Probably the greatest Money in the Bank cash-in of all time. Massive pop.
No, Seth Rollins is better.
Oh my.
Seth Rollins is better.
Okay.
I know I'm biased, but Seth Rollins is better.
Okay, WrestleMania, I get it, but the pop, my favorite is.
I mean, let's be honest. The pop was probably bigger at WrestleMania, but it's just an it's open arena, so the air goes up. And anyways, go on.
Okay, my favorite is Dolph cash in, but that's besides.
I mean, I have a Dolph Ziggler cash-in plaque. If you want it for $200, you can go right ahead.
You said 50 like 2 months ago.
Yeah, but now it's gone up in value because Dolph Ziggler's had a push.
Oh my God. Okay.
Maybe not now because he's losing to Elias.
I'll just wait till it goes down.
Okay.
All right, but yeah, come on, man. Dolph, he has all these highs, he has these lows, he has the lower lows. He gets somewhere, goes back down, gets somewhere high, low, high, low. What is this? What are we doing? Come on.
I think it's just Vince just needing to build up Elias because, as I said, he's probably the third guy on the roster, and he's not the best wrestler. And I think he didn't have that good of a match with Dolph Ziggler. So if you're not going to have that good of a match with Dolph Ziggler, I mean, who exactly can you have a match with? He had that match last week with Jinder Mahal. That was terrible. So I'm a little I don't know, curious on how they're going to portray Elias going forward, just because he was a one-note heel. He comes out, he trolls the crowd. So now he's going to be fun. He says he's going to bring Oasis back together and all this other stuff. So, I mean, is he just going to make these songs just trolling the heels, I guess? Or maybe, or I don't know, does he troll, like, the rival city of the teams? I don't know what he's going to do.
We'll see.
Does he put over the teams there? I don't know.
He
I mean...
he could have, rock concerts, so to speak.
He'll come out on Survivor Series, put over LeBron and other stuff. Who knows?
There we go. All right, Rowdy Ronda Rousey has a promo hyping up her match with the man, SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch at Survivor Series. And Ronda Rousey said she is the baddest biatch on the planet. So
I liked the promo from Ronda in total. I have some issues with her.
The last 45 seconds.
Yeah, I think Ronda. Okay, so I knew Ronda Rousey before she came to WWE, so I was a big UFC fan, so I knew who she was and all this other blah 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 blah. Her thing going in, her last two fights when she ended up losing, especially when it went up against Holly Holm, she was really, really unnecessarily mean to Holly Holm. And Holly Holm's a nice lady. She's the preacher's daughter, and she just went after Holly Holm for no reason. And that's kind of when Ronda started to turn heel, because she was just because I think Ronda's thing is she needs to get amped up and she's hate the person to fight. And so she goes after these in WWE she's been doing these shoot style comments with Nikki Bella and Becky Lynch, and with Nikki, it's fine. She's more of a heel, and now with Becky, she's going maybe a little too close to home with Becky. And I think I'm not, saying she's turning heel right now or she's gonna have a problem with the crowd. I do feel like when it's at Survivor Series in LA, the crowd will face with Becky, because I know I'm cheering for Becky in that match. But I think right now it's just kind of a little window into what she could be as a heel, and maybe some problems down the line with what she might have to face if she goes off and faces against other people that she might like, or just the way she carries herself, people might start to turn on her.
Yeah, it's gonna be something interesting to see. But like I said, the last 45 seconds of Rousey's promo, that's all that really needed to be said. The whole thing, okay, decent to an extent, sure, but I'm excited.
She was sick, so you got to give her that. She's on YouTube. She has a very good YouTube channel. It's not a whole lot of subscribers, but she was talking about how she was sick. She just barely got her voice that day or the day before. So, kudos to her for manning up, in this whole Becky Lynch thing. But yeah.
We're gonna see where this goes. I'm excited for Rousey versus Lynch. All right, Nia Jax, my girl. She's not like most girls. She turned heel, on Raw after defeating Ember Moon. Tamina walks down, assaults Moon. Jax joins her. This Samoan woman not faction, but dynasty.
Even though Tamina's not Samoan, she's like some other island, I forget. They're all the same.
The bloodline, let's just call it that. So what's going on here?
I think Nia Jax is now the female version of the Big Show. She just gets turned whenever she needs to get turned.
I knew that was going to come up. I did my research. I found out exactly how many times Big Show has turned heel and face.
Well, I know What Culture just did a video on this like a couple weeks ago, and it's like a 10-minute video of every single. I don't even know if it's in WCW or if it's just WWE.
It's his whole career.
But it's like he has turned so many times. It's like not even funny. Like he comes back.
They did a video, really?
Yeah, like a whole 10-minute thing.
I didn't even see that. So, 16 heel turns, 16 face turns,
and this includes the new one with the bar.
Yes,
but. The thing is, like, he'll leave as a heel, but then he'll come back as a babyface, so that counts as a turn, and then he'll turn back heel. And anyways, but Nia Jax, she's not the best heel because she has like the pretty face. She's not the best actress. I think she's a naturally nice person, and I think when she tries to be evil and sinister, it's just a put on and we see past her. But she's a big girl, so you can't really put sympathy on her. So it's kind of a catch-22. What do you do with her? And I think just you have her with Tamina just to put extra heat on her.
Hey, it's okay. Pretty girls are mean.
Mean Girls?
Yes, Regina George. Like, come on.
Never seen Mean Girls.
Wow.
I said it. I don't care.
Look, next October 3rd, we're having a Mean Girls Appreciation Day.
Anyways, I think this is just a way to get more heat on Nia and make Nia Jax a little bit more of a formidable opponent against Ronda Rousey, whether it's at TLC or whatever this is.
I'd like to see it at TLC. I think that'd be fun. See Ronda Rousey wrestle. All right, say with me, Lashley, my boy, my man, Bobby Lashley defeats the first ever Universal Champion, Finn Balor.
How many times in a row have we had this match? Like, I feel like we've had this for like a month straight.
Yeah, it's like the third or fourth one.
For a month straight, there you go.
Yeah. Thoughts, comments?
The whole bending over thing with Lashley, I don't know if that's a rib or what was going on there. Because technically, if you like want to show your glute muscles, you don't bend over, you clench them together. That's
was
how
he bending and clenching?
I don't think he was bending and clenching.
Blasphemy.
He was bending and he was wide open.
Dude, if you want to show off your glutes, you gotta clench, my guy. It's common sense. I don't know what that was, but that honestly, that was disturbing. I had to look away.
And it went on way too long.
Yeah. All right. So it was presented earlier on in the night. If Kurt Angle could defeat Drew McIntyre, he would be the captain of Team Raw, or he would be on Team Raw.
Team Raw captain. Team Raw, well, both kind of.
Yeah. So he loses to Drew McIntyre with his own move, the ankle lock, whatever you want to call it.
I'm very interested to see what they do with this. Vince McMahon, I think everybody's really high on Drew McIntyre. Word is this finish was like Kurt Angle's idea to put him over in his own move. He even put him over at a TNA when he was on his way out. So Kurt Angle's a big fan of Drew McIntyre. I'm a big fan of Drew McIntyre. I think now with Roman Reigns gone, the door is wide open for Drew to be a heel or babyface top guy in WWE. And I'm interested to see what they do on both the Angle side and the Drew McIntyre side, because the Kurt Angle, I mean, it was just kind of sad, to be honest. He shouldn't be wrestling, first off. He is in a match with Drew McIntyre, who he should lose to, and he ended up losing to. His physical shape isn't that great, so he just gets practically squashed against Drew McIntyre. And now, where do you go going forward with this? Do you build him up to him doing some training montages, chase around the chicken with Shane McMahon, the best in the world, like Vince McMahon did back in the day, and he builds up to like a Royal Rumble spot? And I don't want to see this, but he goes in number one and almost goes a distance, and then Drew McIntyre throws him out again. I don't know what you do with him.
I think Kurt Angle, this doesn't tarnish his legacy or whatever.
It doesn't, but it's just like sad to watch. It's just it's like those old timey, like, those basketball players who hold on for way too long and they're like bench players and they're once great, like Michael Jordan on the Wizards. Like Michael Jordan, he was decent on the Wizards, but it's like that's not the Michael Jordan from the '90s. Like,
Yeah.
just give it up, my man.
Yeah, I mean, Angle, I think he knows his role as of late. Like, is he a legend? Is he great? Yes, absolutely. But he doesn't compete on a regular basis. Drew McIntyre does. Drew McIntyre's younger. He's stronger. Angle, he's up there in age. He has ailments, I'm sure. So, yeah, I understand why he lost to Dolph in the first round of the Best in the World tournament. So, yeah,
I think that one's a little bit more interesting because I would have thought maybe Kurt Angle makes it to the finals or does something, but you said he lost in the first round, and Dolph Ziggler doesn't have as much of an upside as Drew McIntyre does. So if you were to put them against each other, if you had Kurt Angle faces against Dolph and Kurt Angle faces against Drew, I would have said, he probably would beat Dolph, and then maybe he'd lose to Drew just because I think Drew has much more things to do in the future.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Kurt Angle. Does he sneak on to the team somehow? Surprise intern at the Rumble. Goes the distance. Almost wins. Yeah, we don't know. We'll see. Alright, we got to jump over to Smackdown Live. Smackdown, they did it. They hit me in my feel spot yet again. Let's talk about it. Survivor Series announcements. Paige comes out. They were in Manchester, like Raw was. Raw was in Manchester, I believe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But attendance was not very good for both shows.
Yes. Well, anyway, Paige comes out there, UK girl. She announces Shane McMahon, best in the world. And he comes out there and he says, by no means am I the best in the world.
And he gets a photo with the trophy that he earned.
He gets a photo with the trophy that he earned, yes. Yes, absolutely. He says this belongs to SmackDown, this belongs to everybody back there. So we have announcements. Daniel Bryan is apparently the captain for Team SmackDown. Then The Miz limps out there because remember he got injured in the final. He got his voice back apparently though.
Good for him.
Yeah, limps out. And then Shane McMahon makes both of them co-captains for the Survivor Series team. And then in a backstage segment, Bryan and Miz actually agree on something, and they say Shane should join them. So it's going to be...
Well, I mean, SmackDown's won. They have the best in the world, so...
Oh, yeah.
The match shouldn't even happen now.
And then the story going on here is like, Miz and Daniel, like, did we actually agree on something? Did we actually like each other? So, we can see how this plays out. We're going to talk more about how it played out throughout the show. And, alright, so we have the Usos defeat the New Day.
You're just going to skip me? I know we're running long, but that was a very interesting segment, especially with Best in the World Shane McMahon. Like, he comes out, he's getting booed out of the building, and then he kind of diffuses the heat and saying, like, oh, I'm not really the best in the world. It's for SmackDown and blah, blah, blah. So, like, was this originally supposed to be a heel turn, or was this not supposed to be a heel turn? Were they just pulling the reins back because they're like, okay, this is getting a lot of heat?
The reins?
Yeah, well, whatever. It's a word people say. It wasn't. No pun intended. But I'm interested to see what they do with Shane McMahon. He came out. I thought that was a blatant heel turn, and now maybe they realize maybe they got a little too much heat on it, so now they're gonna try to pull back and gonna maybe do a little slower burn. So gonna be something to watch with Shane, best in the world.
Yes, it will. Are the Usos? I've been down since day one. They defeat the New Day. What was this match for?
To be like captains or something it was another thing to be captains for the Survivor Series team, and ended up both of them were on the team anyways.
For what team?
For like the tag team. They're having like a tag team match for the tag team match.
Alright. Gotta get everybody on the show. This match was really good, as New Day Usos matches always are. After the match, Usos say, we battled a lot of people, but you guys are the best, yada yada yada. We want you on the team. So yeah, they hop on the team. Alright, after this, the Man makes her way out into the crowd, cuts a very, very fiery promo.
Straight fire, you might say.
Oh, hey-oo, on Rowdy Ronda Rousey. The line I really liked was, Rousey talked about how she's the baddest biatch on the planet, and then Becky was like, I'm gonna make you mine. I was like, oh. And then Sanity's music played, and I'm like, hey, Sanity, I haven't heard this music in a while.
Didn't know they're still on SmackDown.
Yeah, exactly. You have Alexander Wolf, Killian Dane, Eric Young, former TNA heavyweight champion. And
Dana Bryan Light.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, oh my god. The Twisted Sister, NXT's Twisted Sister, Nikki Cross, is frantic in the ring with Becky. She's like, let's play, let's play, let's play, let's play. And then they play. Nikki didn't play good enough, and she loses to Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch's promo was good, just exactly what you would think from her. She carries herself so well as a heel. Not even as, I mean, I don't even know if she's a heel at this point. I think WWE definitely isn't going as hard as her being a heel, but I mean, she went up against a babyface in her home region, so she's still kind of like in that heelish role. Nikki Cross coming out, I did see the spoiler before the show started, so I knew she was going to come out. And I mean, NXT, she's been, I wouldn't say floundering on NXT, but she's just kind of been in the same level, just kind of treading water. She's been with the whole Aleister Black situation, so she's been in a high profile part of NXT lately, but she just hasn't really gone anywhere in the women's division. She's had her matches with Shayna Baszler and everybody else, so I think now people have been really asking for her to call. I mean, she was on the stage when they did the whole Evolution thing, so it makes sense. People have been asking for her to be called up for a while, and I think she breathes new life not only in the women's division but also for Sanity. I think she definitely is she's probably the best part of that whole act, to be honest.
Going back to the Becky Lynch promo, I was listening to In This Corner, Adam Silverstein, Brian Campbell, and they were trying to break it down. They were breaking down her promo. Who was it like? It wasn't a Rock like. It wasn't Austin like. I think Dusty Rhodes like is probably the closest comparison you can get. You know, there wasn't a lisp or anything like that, BB. But just talking about everything she's been through, that's what Dusty would do. And hell, Dusty taught her how to cut a promo. You know, he was the promo guy down there in NXT before he unfortunately passed away 3 years ago. So, yeah, I liked it. I felt that connection.
I mean, it's just a confident person talking. It's Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor, you know, whatever sports figure you want to put out there. It's just someone who believes in themselves and knows they're really good, and they deliver, and they just know what they're saying and they back it up. So shout out to Becky Lynch.
Yes.
My girl.
You the man. Alright, Rey Mysterio versus Andrade Cien Almas. Oh my god. Winner of this would be placed onto Team Smackdown, and Rey won.
Yeah, this is probably one of the best. This is probably one of the better, you know, under 10-minute matches you'll see maybe ever. This was just really high-paced. Rey just knows exactly what to do, and he does a whole lot without doing that much, if that makes any sense. He knows what he can do to get himself over, but not do super crazy things to get himself hurt. And, you know, I wish they would have held off on this match, but this is just what WWE does. They give us these dream matches and these, not throwaway, I mean, it was kind of a throwaway, but, you know, these under 10-minute matches that we're not going to talk about again, and I would love for them to go 15-plus minutes for the U.S. title or, you know, for the WWE Championship, or just to go out there and have some fun.
Yeah. I mean, Rey got the first one. There's probably going to be a next one down the line. Maybe Andrade wins that one. Then they'd have to have a rubber. So I think we'll see this match quite a few times more down the line in the coming months or near future or whatever. All right. The phenomenal AJ Styles, WWE Champion, has a backstage promo in the locker room, I think that was. And, you know, he's talking about his match with Brock Lesnar, and he says he's going to win. And then he uses the line, "That's not a prediction, it's a spoiler." Paul Heyman had some things to say about that on social media, saying, gimmick infringement, haha, nice try trying to take my phrase, but the beast is best, or whatever.
So it's one thing when Paul Heyman says that he's sort of a heel. So when heels guarantee something, they don't always have to go through with it. But I feel like when a babyface outright says that he's going to win, and that's not a prediction, it's a spoiler, it's like he is saying he is going to do whatever it takes, he's going to win this match, and if he doesn't, it's a letdown. And we've already said that we both think that AJ is going to end up winning this match, so I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of it because it is kind of a spoiler, because people like us read a whole lot into this. So I really hope they give AJ this win, because with this promo, if he doesn't win, he looks like a schmuck, especially losing 2 years in a row.
Yeah, but then again, I think it's Brock Lesnar. He's a freak, and AJ, you know, he's.
But now he's not on steroids anymore, so.
Oh my God.
So maybe AJ has a chance now.
We shall see. All right, so the Women's Survivor Series team was announced, and why don't you talk about this one? Give us all your thoughts.
I mean, Paige just comes out there and parades all the women, and I don't even know who. Let's see, it was Carmella, it was Asuka, Naomi, and Charlotte was one, but Charlotte didn't come out. Oh, and Sonya Deville came out. Okay, so all 4 of those come out, and then Charlotte was supposed to come out, but then Charlotte didn't come out, and so this just kind of builds up the whole what's going on with Charlotte situation.
Mandy.
And Mandy Rose comes out, and Corey Graves loses his mind, drools all over the
God's
announce
gift to humanity.
Corey Graves is a married man with a child. I think he needs to calm down a little bit.
I mean, hey, you know.
I mean, Mandy's nice, but I mean, calm down. Be professional, Corey.
He's not out here JFKing it or anything like that, but he's...
That we know of. And then
Oh.
Mandy Rose just comes out and just buries everybody and says some shoot stuff to Naomi. And then we get into a fight and blah, 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 blah. So it was just your standard stuff. And Lana and Rusev are complaining on Twitter because they're not a part of the Survivor Series teams.
Hey, man, you had a good thing with Aiden English, man. You shouldn't have looked the other way on him or whatever, I don't know. All right, moving on from that, Samoa Joe defeats Jeff Hardy. He gets added to the Survivor Series team. So now I guess the stage is set. Bryan, Miz, McMahon, Mysterio.
Best in the world, Shane McMahon.
Best in the world, Shane McMahon. And Samoa Joe. Then, after the match, Daniel Bryan starts assaulting Joe and all this other stuff. Pushes Shane McMahon. What's up with your boy?
Daniel Bryan, he's very competitive. He really gets intense sometimes, and I think his temper might have got a little bit of the best of him. I am intrigued, I don't think he's going to be a heel, but this was kind of heelish things. I speculated that maybe they had some sort of babyface turn for The Miz with him, hurting his knee or whatever in Crown Jewel, but still wanted to go out there and compete. I think Miz was kind of carrying himself a little bit more babyface-ish on this show, so I can see them kind of sprinkling in Miz possibly turning babyface eventually. I think Miz can be a really good babyface, to be honest. I think Alexa Bliss can be a good babyface. I mean, we've seen him with Elias right now. I am dogging on him about his wrestling, but he's connecting with the crowds. I mean, that's kind of step one, so...
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how all this plays out, really. Daniel Bryan, in this... He's competitive, like you just said. I like it. A lot of fire under his ass.
I did like his look. I like the ponytail with some of his bangs hanging out. That was a nice look for him.
I know. Daniel changing it up. I digs it, man. All right, Superstar Spotlight. Who do we got?
You can go first. If someone jumps out, you can go first. I'll go with Chris Jericho. He had a really good match with Evil. Good promo afterwards. It's his birthday. Happy birthday, Y2J. There you go. I just take
cheap pop.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'll give it to Rey Mysterio. The really nice match with Andrade Almas on SmackDown. I loved it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good stuff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, promo pick of the week time. Hulk Hogan messes up his lines. I think this was 2002 SmackDown. And it's that famous promo from Hogan where if you actually think I was just the right gay guy here at the right time at the wrong place, let me say it one more time so you can really understand, McMahon. Yeah. I mean, you gave a Hogan promo last week, I thought, why not? Why not me too? And does this put Hogan in the best light? No, it doesn't.
Well, I mean, Hogan was just completely written off. They didn't even mention him one time. He was the host of Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia, and yet they didn't talk about him once.
Yes.
Which I think just kind of goes to show what they think of him.
Bring a racist to host a show in a country that demeans women and premeditates to kill journalists. Very good, WWE.
And hates gays and Syrians and all this other stuff.
Yes, all that stuff. All right, we're getting really political on here. Jesus, man.
Stick to wrestling.
Yes, match pick of the week. Go.
So last time, 2 weeks ago, I did my Jerry Lynn versus RVD match because he picks one bad ECW match and I don't let it go. And so I went on to the list and I said, what's the best match? And apparently that was on Bleacher Report's list of best ECW match of all time. And I disagreed with it. Yes, it was a good match, but my favorite ECW match of all time, me personally, I'm not the biggest ECW fan, so I haven't watched every single thing, but my favorite match is Eddie Guerrero versus Dean Malenko at ECW Hostile City Showdown, which is on ECW TV on the WWE Network. It is for the ECW TV Championship on April 15th, 1995.
I watched the match this morning while I was getting the cut.
Technical wizardry.
Oh my god, it was amazing. Yeah. And the barbershop, I was just sitting there watching it. The barber and I were watching this. It was really good, man. I loved it. It was about 20 plus minutes of just sunset flips, roll-ups, cradles. It was great, man. I loved everything about it. Eddie Guerrero walks away with the championship. I thought it was good stuff.
I mean, I love technical wrestling. I think I love this a lot more than garbage ECW, especially now with the whole concussions and just blood and guts and everything like that. Yes. I think this match holds up. You can watch this from, it held up in 95, it'll held up in, 2095, so.
Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, follow us on Twitter at BulletCast, Instagram The BulletCast, YouTube channel The BulletCast. Send us messages for the what is it? Fan mail. BulletCast2 is in the number 2 sweet SWEET at gmail.com. We're in Watsonville Radio 99.9 FM KDub, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google Play, iHeartRadio. We're big boys now. We're on this grind. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Brandon will not be accompanying me next week's episode because
I'm hitting the road.
He's hitting the road. He's going to go to TakeOver War Games and Survivor Series. Next Thursday, I will be in San Jose for the NXT house show.
It's a TV taping now.
It's a TV taping.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's going to be some good fun, man. I'm excited. I really am. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Survivor Series TakeOver next week. The title is on the line for both shows. One way or another, I'm getting another championship reign next weekend.
And I'm the Sasha Banks of this podcast, so I'm probably just going to lose.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the BulletCast. We'll see you next time.
This has been the BulletCast. Thank you for listening.